Hello, welcome to Project Cars 2 with MistX24. Again, we're doing the A to Z time trial at Bathurst. And today's car is car number 28, and it is the BMW 2002 Stanceworks Edition from the year 1973. So this car is classed in the GTB or Vintage Grand Touring class. It is rear-wheel drive. 160 miles an hour top speed. We will not see that on the mountain. Be more like 140-ish. 0 to 100 is 5.19 seconds. The 2002 Turbo Street Car is 7.3 seconds, so that gives you an idea of the difference there. We're looking at 270 horsepower in this car, and the Street Car has 170 horsepower, so 100 extra on the Stanceworks. And they do weigh the same amount at 2,281 pounds. So as you can imagine, this car is quite a bit quicker, but it's definitely a lot more stable than the street car. We have a 5-speed H pattern once again, and engine type is a straight 4. A lot of fun, this little car. I really do enjoy it. I think I may like the street car a bit better, but they're both a lot of fun. This thing is just a lot more tame almost, even though it's faster. Alright, before we head down to the track, I want to say I think I'm going to be doing a leaderboard in the next video. I'm going to get one set up, and it's going to be by the class of car, so the GTB or Vintage Grand Touring. We'll just have to go through and put all the times up there, and we'll get it sorted out. I think it'll give a good idea of the different cars and different classes and what they're capable of. I would like to see it myself, and I'm sure some other people would like to as well. So let's head down to the track and check out my setup. Alright, here we are at the setup page. Like before, there will be a timestamp to skip over the setup part for anybody who wants to just go to the 3 laps. I will have that in the description below. Alright, so for tire compound, we do have it set to automatic by weather, which it sets it to slicks, which is what I would choose anyway. If it picks the right tire, I just leave it. Tire pressure at the front, 21.76 on the front left. I do have symmetrical turned off, so the front right I set a tad bit lower. Sometimes a lot of times the front right on most of the cars takes a bit more punishment, which there's many more left-handers on this track, and fast left-handers as well, which I think is the big thing, especially at the top of the hill. The 2 fast left-handers really putting a lot of pressure on that tire on the right side of the car. The rear we've got set a little bit lower at 20.31, which comes out to 24.80 psi on the rear once the tires are up to speed. I did keep the right rear the same as the left rear, so they're the same. Brake pressure, I'm at 75%. I set the brake balance to 57 in the front and 43 at the rear. Not nearly as far forward as some of the other cars. It's still pretty far forward. I usually adjust the brake balance based on how skittish the car is at the top of the hill before you start descending, because that first descension there into the first chicane is very important, and you can go very fast there, but a lot of times it does come down to how well the car brakes in that section if it's not squirrely. Alright, so suspension, I don't normally change the caster angle. I have not here. Camber angle I have left alone. I usually don't change it either unless it comes to that, which is usually one of the later things I'll do, if it does. Ride height, I've got it set to 85 millimeters at the front and the rear. I believe it was set up with the rear being higher at first. No, it was like 90 or 95, something like that. And so that was giving it a bit more oversteer with the rear being a bit higher. But I decided to move it, flatten it out, change some other things to get what I desire. We've got the spring rate in the front set to 50 millimeters, and the rear is set to 75. So the front is softer. Not something I always do in these rear-wheel drive cars, but I think my driving style is starting to change slightly when it comes to these rear-wheel drive cars, where when I first started, I would say I leaned more towards the safe way out, which was a bit more understeer, so the car is a lot more controllable in the corner, which You know, when you're first starting out, I think actually is a pretty good idea to do. Making the car easy to drive is something you should look for at the beginning, just to get the hang of the game or whatever you're doing. I think it's very helpful. But now I've started to tune for a bit more oversteer, because you definitely can go a bit quicker if you get the car to point where you really want it to. Don't have to struggle with it starting to point. You can go a bit quicker. Let's see here. Toe angle. We have the front is at 0, so the tires are straight. I do believe this was set to a positive when I got in it. I had to use the first place Ghost. This is my own setup though now, so I've changed quite a bit of stuff. Have not changed the anti-roll bars. I did move the toe angle. I had it at 0. At 0.1 now. Feels pretty good. I just recently changed that. Let's see here. Dampers. Boy, I don't know what all I changed here. I think it was quite a bit. I think bump stop I went down 1 tick, which was 35 to 30, I believe. Boy, I'm gonna have to look at the defaults. I think I'd moved quite a few of these down for the most part. The slow bump, slow rebound. I believe fast bump I went up with it. I was trying to make it a bit more stable over the curves. It's pretty good now. Bump transition on both front and rear, I'm fairly certain I've ticked down as well, trying to stiffen up the dampening, the initial dampening. Rebound transition, the same story there as the bump transition. Oh, VR's freaking out. I think I moved both of those down as well. Like I said, we're just trying to stiffen up the suspension a bit on initial dampening, so it's kind of stiff, flatten the car out a bit more. Seems to work quite well with these rear-wheel drive cars. Let's see here, 1 liter of fuel. We've got air restrictor set to the maximum to the right. Radiator opening, we're at 45%. Definitely want to get 3 laps without blowing the motor up. I know first place Ghost was running 0, but quite frankly, I mean, it makes a difference. But as I do this more and more, I'm starting to realize it doesn't make quite as big of a difference as I thought it did at first. I think I was just getting better at driving when I was changing it at first, and was really starting to think that it was making a big difference. Let's see your gearing. I think this is default gearing. We're at 3.909 on the final drive. It does go left and right. I've tried both. I like this setting. Let's see your traction control. I have moved down to 8%, so not a whole lot there. ABS is at 75. I believe that is default. And onto the differential. So we're running clutch LSD like I generally do. I've cranked the preload up quite a bit here to 170 Newton meters, and we're running 4 clutches. That is, like I said, kind of my go-to. I think it was set to 6, quite honestly. But I really like the feel of 4 on the rear-wheel drive car, so I'm going to stick to it for now, because the times are showing that it's working. So power ramp is at 80. I was at 90 for quite a while. The rear end was a bit too spinny for me, so I started ramping it down a bit, and things got a lot better. I moved the preload up, and I moved the power ramp down. Not getting nearly as much wheel spin now. Coast ramp is at 45. It's a little bit higher than I will go sometimes, but it seems to work pretty well. Let's see your viscous LSD. We have it to on, and we're at 500 Newton meters, which is the max. So that's like as locked we can go with the viscous there. I don't run this on all the cars, but I do try it generally to see how it feels. What does this say? Lower ramp angles create more force on the clutch friction plates, thereby increasing the locking effect. This can help stabilize the car in corner entry by using engine braking to bind the axles together more tightly. Too much coast locking can lead to understeer during turn-in. So with the coast ramp, you just, I would generally go pretty low at first, like 25, 30, and then I might move it up to see what happens until some real bad understeer starts happening under braking and turn-in, because you will notice it. All right. Let's move on to our 3 laps now, shall we? All right, here we are to take our 3 laps in the 2002 Stanceworks Edition. Great car this is. It's definitely a little bit different piece than the street car. I think I like the street car a little bit more just because it's a tad bit more wild, even though it has less horsepower. This car's a bit more composed, I would say. Definitely a lot of fun, though. There's a weird thing where I pretty much have to rev it past about 9,000 RPM, which it sounds like it's bouncing off a rev limiter, but it just keeps climbing to about 9,200, so I just run it that way because even though it makes me cringe, it's the way to drive it. So that's what we're doing. All right, I think I got my driving mojo back. A bit of a funk there for a bit, but I think we're back finally. Today's all about the car and the fun. Let's go have some fun in this thing, shall we? All right, let's go take the Stanceworks 2002 out for a little spin. Wish I'd take that corner like that on every lap. I never seem to. I think I'm always going a little too fast. I've got to run it to a little over 9,000 RPM. You can hear it. Wait for it. Hear it, hear it. It makes me cringe. I have to run it that way. Oh, makes my hair stand up. I hate the sound of it. Third gear, get her stopped, get her tucked in. Not bad, not bad. That was pretty good, actually. All right. Just easy on the brake, maybe a little sideways. That is not too shabby out of there. Hold second gear. All right, here we go. Down to fourth gear. Pretty much full speed through here. Don't nip that curve, just stay off of it. There we go, you can get on that one. Keep her to the inside. Gonna get a little sideways. Down the hill we go. Run the crap out of it. Don't get too loose. Run the snot out of it. Just gonna coast. A little bit of be easy with the brake. Be easy with the brake. Get her stopped. On the gas. We're gonna red line fourth gear down here. You get about 2 to 3 miles an hour quicker. Am I on lap 1? I forgot what lap I was on already. We go to about 138. Top of the hill, fifth gear. There we go. Come on, old girl. Let's do it. Let's do it. Hard on the brakes. Third gear, second gear. Get her stopped. Dive it in and on it. Not bad, not bad. Very important we get this right. Get her stopped soon enough. On. Get on the gas. Oh, yes. Beat my time. What do we got? Woo! Oh, Lordy. I think that's a world record, boys. Oh, wow. What a difference being in a different state of mind will do for you. I'll be honest with you. After I set a few world records, I started just thinking about setting world records. Today, I wasn't thinking about setting a world record. I just wanted to drive the car. And this is what happens when you just drive the car. It's wonderful. I know we all get into that position at some point. It happens to everybody. Some days you don't feel it physically, some days you don't feel it mentally. I was in the mental camp for the last few days. Back, boys. A little bit sideways. Woo! This is so important down through here. The brake, third gear. Get back on the gas. We're gonna lose it. Oh, big old wall hit. Wow, did that do some damage? A little bit. That's fine. Whew. Alright. I knew that was risky what I was doing. I really got on the gas hard there. That's fine. We got one more lap. I just hurt the car a little bit in the front. We'll just take her easy to the next lap here. The cool down. I need to cool down. It's getting hot. Whew.
Not gonna be the greatest lap, but that is okay with me. Alright. Let's gain it back. Whew, it is getting warm. Very warm outside today. Feeling it inside the game room. I'm gonna need an air conditioner in here soon. Alright, we got one more lap. Yes, we do. Let's do it. Here we go. Kind of feel like the tires might be going a bit by third lap. They feel a bit slipperier. More slippery. Alright. A bit sideways there too. Actually not too. I actually gained a little bit of speed there. I gained a bit of time from that. Easy with the brakes. Not bad. It's kept about the same distance. What a joy. What a joy. I do really like this little car. It's a lot of fun. It's got just the right amount of horsepower to really get you in trouble. Alright, be easy down here. Don't lose it. Bit of coasting. Oh my lord, we almost hit the wall. I didn't lose much speed there for how sideways I got. I did stay in the throttle pretty long on that lap. It was a bit much. Alright, looks like we're not going to get a better time than that. I do highly suggest driving this car and the street version of it. I'm kind of curious to see what other people think about the two variants of it. So I think I like the street car a little bit better, personally. That's just me. I do like the street cars in this game, though, so I'm not really surprised. It's kind of like the other, what was that, the 1M? It was the same type of situation. I didn't mind. I like the Stanceworks car, but it definitely wasn't my favorite. This car's a lot higher up than the other Stanceworks. Alright. A 225.427 for our last lap. Whew. Alrighty, let's go check the leaderboard, shall we?
Alright, here we are at the leaderboard. We did end up setting the world record at a 223.351, 0.128 ahead of the guy in second place now. I think my time was a 223.8 when I first started tonight. Then I set a 0.7 while I was practicing, and that was the time that we saw during the run. So very happy about that. Definitely helps to be in the proper state of mind, let me tell you. It was a good 0.3, 0.5 off my time. The tires did help quite a bit because I had found that I had set the left different from the right, which I think was definitely causing some issues as well. So, that was car number 28, and it was the 2002 Stanceworks. Now we're going to move on to car number 29, and it is the BMW 320 TC E90 from the year 2012. This is a touring car, rear-wheel drive machine. Yeah, it's gonna be a lot of fun. It's got some heavy weight, not too bad. 2,535 pounds, 315 horsepower, 160 top end, 166. I've driven it a little bit. I don't think you see that on the mountain. 4.190 to 100. This car also has a straight 4 in it, very interesting, and it is a 6-speed sequential on the floor. So, it's going to be a lot of fun. Alright. I'll talk to you guys next time. Peace.